Right, well, morning everybody. I'm just going to pop this door open for a couple of seconds, if I can manage it. That deep in snow here in the northeast. Filming's going to be pretty brisk this morning, I think. Beast from the east has arrived, and it really is a beast. We've got about 6 inches of snow here in the northeast. Temperature's not too bad. I've just had to try and get myself downstairs and get into the greenhouse. I've got a few little bits and pieces I want to get sorted out this morning. But as normal, I like to try and get on. First check the temperatures and just to make sure everything else is working okay. So I'm just going to pop the camera, turn it around, and hopefully I'll be upstairs. And what I'm up to. Right, well, as I say, I've managed to get home this morning for about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just try and get a bit of tidying up done down here. Everything's screwing away, well, slowly, but that's the way I like it. What I like to do is to get on and check the propagator lids. As I say, the plastic ones, the only trouble is you get a bit of condensation with these. Well, that to me is a no-no. I like to get on every morning and just give them a good wiping over and just make sure there's no excess water falling on the plants. Temperature down here this morning, 45. So quite happy with that. As I say, it's frost free. It's just it's taken over. It's probably dropping down to about 40 through the night, but we've never had weather like this for about 5 years here. So I'm not too fussed about that. As I say, I never like to have me greenhouse up no higher than 55. So by the time the daytime comes, I put my lamp on. Of course, I'm not putting my lamp on yet because I always end up with headburn, and of course it gets a bad reflection on the camera. So I will put the lamp on once I've finished filming. But as I say, for the time being, I like to try and get these containers. I don't know if you can see over there, but that's the geraniums. They're up about an inch high now, and so they're just plodding on there, just nice and slow. Quite happy with them. I've also got some containers over there, over on the onions, and they're growing away just nice and slowly. Well pleased with them. All the seeds that I did put in 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, they're all well through. Geraniums, busy lizzies, lobelia. It's just struggling through. It's just nice and small, but that's where I like to grow it. As I say, I like to come down, check the containers, make sure there's no moisture on them, because this time of the year, I don't know if I'll have a look on the video once I go upstairs. It's really dark in here because there's about 3 inches of snow on the roof. Now, to me that's a good sign. It just means that the heat in here is not getting out. What I was going to do last week was because we had a few nice sunny days up here, was to take the insulation, the bubble wrap. Now, I'm glad I didn't know, because we were well warned in the middle of last week that we were going to get a real heavy bad snowfall and a cold spell for this week. So I'm just glad I held on a little bit. As I say, the greenhouse is lined with bubble insulation, and that's stopping the heat from going to the glass, which just stops it from melting the snow on the top. But the only downside of that is that the snow does block out a lot of light. But that's something you just got to live with. As I say, this time of the year, when your temperatures are down and your light's down, this is when your troubles start, especially with boitress dampening off. It's one of the worst diseases you can get. You can have a lovely tray full of seedlings one day and it can be collapsed on top of each other the next day, just through the dampening off. Cool surfaces on the compost, poor light, and too much moisture, and that leads to dampening off, and of course the seedlings just collapse on themselves. But at the moment, mine are doing fine. I'm really pleased with where they're going, so I'm not going to start worrying about that just yet. What I have done, I just knocked the bag down on the floor that I needed, so I'll just pull that out. It's a little bit tight, this greenhouse, for me. I would love a bigger one, but it means a lot of extra work, changing the patio around, changing wife's herb beds and that around. But I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of putting a 12-footer in here for next year when I do retire. But that's something me and the missus are going to have to discuss through the week, through the coming year. As I say, plants are doing fine, seedlings are popping through. Now they're the Ailsa Craig onions. Still loads of comments on the internet about growing show leeks and show onions. There's still plenty of time. It's only, as I say, it's only the end of February. If you're just growing them for the garden, get them in now. And they're a great variety. Again, nice big onion from them, Ailsa Craig. You can sow them now quite easily. And as you see, I haven't even started potting them up yet. I've just let them grow on. They're well out of the proof stage now. I'm going to leave them for another week. I've got a big tray downstairs underneath here, which I'm going to pot these up into, but I'll do that next week on the next video. So I'm just leaving them to one side for the moment. I managed to get up the allotment the weekend. His brother took us up in the car, took my camera up, but left me HD card in the house, the small card that goes inside the camera, so of course I couldn't record anything. I was well pleased. It was a freezing Sunday afternoon, really cold, but I got myself into the tunnel with the help from my brothers, and I managed to get a few of my leeks potted up while Roger carried on with sowing the potatoes. We got our first early potatoes in the tunnel. Couple rows of Casablanca, which we grew last year, fantastic. Great potatoes, so we're well pleased with that. We're going to try them again this year. And plus I got a row of Swift. I did have Swift in the year before, but they were a bit on the small side. But that was down to planting times and lifting times a little bit earlier because of we needing the space. But this year I've got the Swift. They're in now. They'll not break surface for another 3 to 4 weeks, which is fine. Begin at the end of getting on towards the end of March. We can bank them up, and we'll be digging them up at the end of May, ready for the tomatoes going in. So I'm quite happy with that. As I say, I'm well pleased with the way the seedlings are growing. Here's one of the set of geraniums. These are the second lot we planted. I've got the seeds from Wilkinson's. They're all through, no problem, pop through, even in temperatures down to 40. So, as I keep saying to people, don't be in too much of a hurry yet to start sowing things. You will run into trouble if you haven't got the space to put them, and you haven't got the greenhouse that's frost free once you get up, like of tomatoes and stuff like that. Right, so one thing I did manage to do at the allotment was to start sorting out through the dahlias. I love my dahlias. Just before I had my accident, I managed to get my dahlias packed away in the compost and put away in the shelf in the tunnel. Unfortunately, while I was away, we had a bit of problem with condensation, or a bit of a leak, and of course the water was dripping down into the trays, soaking in the compost, and trouble being this compost was too wet, and I've lost a few of the tubers. I think out of about 16 I put up, the big show ones, I've only lost about 5, so I'm well pleased. Sunday afternoon I got a good knife and I started scraping them down, taking off part of the tubers that had died off or rotted. I give them a good soaking or a good spraying with yellow sulphur. And what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to go up and make a mixture up with Jace Flow warm water, give them a good wash, a good scrubbing down, make sure all nice and clean. Bit more yellow sulphur once they dry out, and then I'm going to pot them up into pots and put them up onto the heat bench. These should have been done weeks ago for cuttings for the show, but unfortunately, as I say, things being as they are, I haven't been able to get as much done as what I can, but I'll get all ready for next year. I'm well chuffed for that. At least I've saved most of my dahlia showers. So we'll start taking cuttings. The chrysanths, I did post on my Facebook page the other night. I took a few pictures of the leeks and the chrysanths. The chrysanths are coming up fine. There's plenty of nice green growth on them. So what I will do next week, I'll make a video and I'll start taking cuttings, and I'll show you how we like to go on about with cuttings. They're a bit late for the shows now, but I'm not too bothered about that. It's just one of them things that we're just going to have to live with. What I want to show you today is what I did manage to bring down from the greenhouse is my sweet peas. Now there's been a load of lads sowing sweet peas, spring sown, or sown now, and they must be in heat because some of them on the internet the other night were that tall, and people are asking what to do with them. Well, they're far too big for this time of the year. They've got to be cut right back. Now these are my sweet peas, and these are autumn sown, and they're absolutely fantastic. If I say so myself, they're perfect for this time of the year. This is how I like them. These are sown in September, October, and they've been through the worst winter we've had for a few years. They've been right down to minus temperatures, just in a frost-free greenhouse. No covers, nothing whatsoever. Temperatures must have been dropped right down to minus, but they've just struggled on. They've got them in pine pots, and as I say to people, keep them really cold, and it's the best plant you'll ever get from them. I'm just going to ease this out of this pot, and just to show you, if you can see that, look at the root ball on there, and that's what it's all about. And it's a fantastic root ball. The roots are well down there, and just how I like them this time of year. As I say, I brought a couple of pots down here, and they're one for my greenhouse down home, just so I can show you how to go on about them. But these are not stuff down here. As soon as I've cut these back, they'll be way back up to the allotment where the cold is. Now, as I say, I like to get me under about 3 or 4 sets of leaves, and they're just perfect. And now all I like to do is just to go into a leaf node. So it's 1, 2, that's 3 sets of leaves there, which is perfect, and just snip the top off. 1, 2, 3 sets of leaves, snip the top off, and with that one, 3 sets of leaves, just snip the top off. Easy, nothing too deadly about that. All you're doing is just you're cutting them back, and what will happen now is they'll start branching out. Because as I say, I love growing sweet peas, and to me this is always the best crop to get. As I say, I've cut them back now, and all they'll need now is a cane. Now I will have to send away for a few of these. I've been watching a few of the lads on the internet using them, and they're quite good, so I'm pleased with them. I'll pop a cane in now, just down the side of there. I'll not do them any harm. And then once they grow up to about 4 to 6 inches high, I'll put a restraining cane around them, and they'll grow it quite nicely. As I say, I'm well pleased with them at the moment. Good root ball on them, but that's the idea of sowing them in the autumn, nice and slow, so you get a good root system. And come April, middle of April, they'll be fantastic for planting out, and they'll just romp away. Now, I've brought a couple of packets of seeds down with us. Sweet pea, once again. But I do make a summer sowing or a spring sowing. You can sow now. I always like to use on about March time and start getting mine in. The same with all the other big plants I grow. Marigolds will go in March. I'll get a lot of dahlia seeds to go in. The small stuff that doesn't take much heat. But as I say, sweet peas, you can sow them now. Never be too much of a hurry, even in a cold greenhouse. If you want to sow them, just put a bit of cover over them. Use a plastic top, put them in pots, little 3-inch pots. That's all I need. A 9cm pots, I use quite a lot of them. 9cm pot, you can get 4 or 5 seeds in there, quite easy. Bring your seed to the top. Your seed mixture halfway to about 1 inch from the top. Sow your seeds. You can soak them overnight if you want, but for the summer ones I don't bother. Just make sure your compost is not too wet this time of the year, because wet compost in cold conditions, your seed will rot away. So as I say, just nice moist compost, 4 or 5 seeds in there, a light covering, and put a piece of plastic covering over the top, and they'll grow away quite easy. The trouble is, people have been putting them in the house, and of course the temperatures in the house are far too high. Central heating's on, and it's blasting away 60, 65, 70 degrees, and they're just sweet peas are just overtaken. And by the time you get them outside, they're far too weak, far too big. You never do anything with them. And the only thing I suggest to some people is, if they have done the sweet peas and they are in that state, there's another pot. What I would do, as I say, I like to get mine up about 3 or 4 inches, 3 or 4 good sets of leaves, and just nip the top. But what you can do if they get too big is to go right down to the base leaves, the first set of true leaves, and cut them there. Now, on some of the pictures on the internet, they were 6 or 7 inches before the seedling leaves were on. So that tells me that the heat is fantastic. And what's happened is, as soon as they broke the surface of the compost, the heat and the lack of light, and it just shut up. So you end up with a plant about 6 inches before its seedling leaves break open. So to me, that's far too hot. So if you want to grow good sweet peas, check on the internet and go on my videos, and I think it's flowers. I made the program about October last year, and it was a bunch of flowers. and something for the wife, and that was in that programme. I did a little video on sowing the autumn sowing sweet peas. But what I will do in a week's time, I'll do another sowing of sweet pea. We've only got a week to go into March. I will start with my main crop of spring bedding, but as I say, March is fine for that. The temperatures are going to start picking up the allotment. I've got a bit more room up there, and what I'll do is I'll try and sort that greenhouse up. All my leeks, all my onions are mainly up there now, so it gives us a little bit more room down here to start doing a little bit planting out. So what I'll do, I'll leave it for now. I'm going to go upstairs, and I've got a few seeds to sort out, because what I have been doing over the last couple of nights is sorting out my main planting weeks and months. I've been jotting down what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, so I'm well ahead. Put my diary out, get my diary out, and I always try and make notes. Have a look back on last year when I sowed. It's going to be a bit different this year because, as I say, we're coming into March this week, but the way the weather's looking, it's absolutely throwing it down there now with snow. So there's no way I'm going to be sowing in this. I'm just going to keep this temperature nice and steady here. Quite happy with it. As I say, it's down to 45 there now, but once I put my light on, it'll shoot back up to about 50, 55, which is quite happy. I know there's a good layer of snow on the roof, which is blocking my light, but it's just one of the things you put up with. Maybe it's next week if the snow goes and we'll get back to some near like spring weather. I will take away the insulation on the inside here and then let the light through, and that makes a big difference when you've got full light. It really does. The plants respond to it. You know, they start growing away really well. Just not too warm conditions, but plenty of light. I always say that. I cannot stress that enough. As long as the plants have got plenty of light and just frost-free, they will grow away really easy. So that's it for the time being. I'm pleased with that, the way things are looking down here. As I say, I've got a couple of trays of leeks here. There's some trays of onions to pot up. I will make another video through this week and show you what compost we're going to use. We're going to start making our own composts for the allotment, but I will do a smaller batch so you can see how I get on with making mine. But for the time being, as I say, the sweet peas, well, chuffed with them. They're growing away just nice. As I say, it's only the end of February. By the middle of March, I'll be up to here. I'll put a ring on them, put a colour on them, just to tighten them in, and well, chuffed with them. Just can't wait for the flowers to start coming out, and then the wife loves them. I love them. Fantastic smell right over the garden. But I will do a summer sowing next week. But as I say, never be in any hurry to put your seeds in. Stacks of time. It's only, as I say, it's only the end of February. The main stuff I put in is geraniums, basilises that need a long growing time, a long growing season. But if you haven't got the heat, don't bother. But if you're starting off in the house, just be careful. Check out my grow box, and that's where I'm going now. I've got the grow box in the dining room. I've got a guest stopping for the next week or two, so I've been throwing out out my loft, and I put my stuff downstairs in the dining room. I've got my grow box on the window. That's south facing, and that's where I'm going now. I just want to show you a few things up there. So I'll see you in a bit. Oh, that's better. God, it's absolutely better out there. But as I say, the beast from the east has arrived. We've got a good 6 inches of snow out there in the back garden. But I've been out the greenhouse, check that heating's fine. I always like to try and at least get on there once a day, and just to make sure everything's ticking over. Temperatures are fine. The light's a bit dodgy. I've just put my light on now, but that's going to give it a good amount of light through the day. Now that the snow's lying on top of the roof and making it a little bit dark in there, but hey ho, we'll get there slowly but surely. Once again, welcome to all the new subscribers. I've had quite a few on this week, so I did write all their names down somewhere, but no doubt I'll find that again. One of them showed a bit of interest. Richard Toroff down in Skipton there, Yorkshire. Well, welcome Richard. What I have done, I sent you a few seeds off in the post. Loads of people asked for these last year. These are my own seed, the American ones and the Spanish ones. So what I do is I put them on just I don't want to tip it up too high, because all my yellow stuff is going to fall off them, as it is doing now. I'm going to do like just a sheet of ordinary kitchen newspaper, and I spread the seed out on there. Now on the American ones there must be 2-3 dozen seed on there. Now they'll go just into a half size seed tray. There's my what size seed tray you're using. I use these quite a lot. These are just from the supermarket or the fruit shops, but they've had either strawberries in or mushrooms. Just make sure you hold the bottoms, and they fit perfect inside of them. Even if it's doubled over, what I can do, I can cut that into half, I can cut that into 4. And a little square like that will hold a half dozen or a dozen seed, and you can put that in a little 9cm pot. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, I've got them wrote down now, I've got my dates wrote down. And what I like to do with my seed, I know I'm getting them out of the envelopes. They've been locked in there since last September. And I just like to check to make sure that they're okay. As I say, these are the American ones. I'm going to do 2, possibly 3 sowings of these. I grew them last year, and I wasn't that impressed with them. Mainly because I think the first lot I grew in the heat. Now a lot of people, when they're growing tomatoes, they think that you need a lot of heat. You don't need a lot of heat at all. Depending on your sowing time. Once again, when I started gardening years ago with my dad, all we did is we sowed them in a compost tray, and they're all wooden boxes, and small wooden boxes we used to get from the fruit shop with the oranges in or whatnot. And we used to just sow a compost nice and level, put a seed in, bit of covering, a sheet of glass and a piece of newspaper, and here up they would come year after year after year. But then again, we were sowing them in the times April and even into May. Once your tomato seeds get up, they'll absolutely romp away. So what I'm going to be doing with these, I'm going to make 3, possibly 4 sowings. I'm going to, my normal time is the beginning of March to the middle of March. That's when I sow in a cool greenhouse, frost-free greenhouse. As I say, I did start some seeds off in here a couple of weeks ago, and what I did, I potted them up the other day, and there they are. Now these are just the ordinary Spanish seed, and I get every year from the Canary Islands, and as you can see, they're just coming on their 2 leaves. That's a seedling leaf. First set. Now a lot of people, when they're on about their seeds, they prick off at the seedling stage. I never do. Very rarely I prick off at the seedling stage. Why I've done this time is just to show you how I go about it. I like to leave mine in the seed trays till at least to get into the first true set of leaves. When you get a tomato plant off anybody, the first thing I always do is check to make sure the seedling leaves are still on that plant. If the seedling leaves are still there, it means the plant's been grown properly, it's been grown well, it hasn't had any setbacks, no checks, no cold, because if they do get cold, the first things that go is the seedling leaves. They'll die off and they'll not be there. So what you'll be looking at is what you should be looking at is a short, sturdy, nice plant with a good set of seedling leaves on. That's just a little tip for if you're buying your plants in. They're the easiest thing in the world to grow, by all means, but it can be tricky. There's just a little few problems. When you're potting them up into your mixtures, I like to plant them a little bit deeper, and so they get a nice hold. I water from the bottom. Always have done. All my seedlings get water from the bottom. The only time they'll get any moisture on the top is if I spray them, and I give these a little bit of spray the other day of calamine tea, and that's just to give them a little bit of protection from any molds, funguses, or anything that could be in even the new composts. There could be still pathogens in there, and I like to give them just a little bit of spray with that, and it keeps them nice and clean. But they're now 3 weeks old, and they're just ticking over. There's no heat in here. This is just the dining room, no heat whatsoever. and it's just ticking over nice and slowly. It's probably about 50-55 in here. The front room where the heat and the radiator and that's on, it's just keeping the temperature nice and buoyant. Even when they were upstairs in the loft, only 50-55, nothing any more than that. When you see people bring them up in temperatures of 60 and up to 70, and it's just far too hot because the plants just romp up, and especially when they haven't got full light. I've got my box on here, as you can see. I've got full light in there, and they're ticking away, tickety-boo. I'm well pleased with them. But what I am going to do with them, once they get a decent size, I'm going to take them up the allotment, and I'm going to put them in a cold greenhouse. Now you might think that's a bit harsh, but I'm going to see just what will happen with the tomato plants in a cold greenhouse. Now I did start my sowing yesterday. I've just sowed a tray full of Moneymaker, which is one of my favourite plants, and I will be just bringing them up nice and slow. What I've also sown is I've got about 40 trays, 30 different pots of perennials. Now perennials are easy to grow. Now, when you get a packet of seed, sometimes you only get 10-15 seed in a packet. A little 9cm pot's fine. That's all you need. Bring it. This is dripping like hell because, as I say, I water from the bottom. They're nice and wet now, so I'm quite happy with that. They'll go back in that trays. As you can see, this is scarlet flax. It's a lovely flower. I've got quite a few plants I'm sowing now for the baskets. They're like the bins. That's another really nice one. I've got Lunaria, I've got Aqualesia, I've got Syrinth, Hollyhock, Malvia. I've also planted my aubergines, and I've made a start on tomatoes. But as I say, this is just the end of February, beginning of March. There's plenty of time. I have put my peppers in yesterday, and just in here, 50-55, nothing too excessive. I just like them to grow away nice and slowly. But with all of these, I sow them on the top, and just a light sprinkling of either vermiculite or perlite on the top, and that's all they'll need. They're quite happy. They'll sit there now for a few days, and once they start breaking surface, I'll give them a good spraying with chamomile tea, and down to the greenhouse will go. There's a tree on here. That's a Sweet William. We'll get plenty of packets of seeds being given, so I like to try and sow as much as I can. As I say, don't worry about your trays. I always like to use 2 or 3 different methods. The small quarter trays, I use a lot of these, especially when you're sowing just one packet of seed, and you'll probably find 30 or 40 seeds in one packet. That's fine. Just a tray like that, and fill up with compost and use a pencil. Just make a line down the centre. Make sure it's nice and moist, because I soak all these in trays of water. Sow your seed, and once again, a little bit of perlite over the top, and away they go. Different trays for different seeds. Some seeds, like the Sweet William, you'll probably end up with about 1,000 seed. Well, with that, what I'll do, as I said, as I showed you in the other programs, I'll do 1, 2, 3 rows in there on the moist compost, and I'll sow the seed in them 3 rows. And believe you me, when they are growing, it makes life a lot easier when you come to start pricking off. But all that's in another video. For the time being, as I say, I'm going through my seeds. I've got 1,000,000 packets of sweet pea from different people. I had about 3 or 4 packets myself left off my own stock, but these will all get sown next month. There's plenty of time for these. Marigolds, I've got 1,000,000 packets of marigolds that different people have been saving from different magazines and whatnot. They'll all go in. What I have been doing is trying to sort out all mine, the main stuff I want for my baskets. And there's another nice one, nasturtium, or nasturtium. I grow that every year. A lot of people don't like it because it's very prone to black fly. Now, my way of getting around that is simple. It's the same as what I do with my dahlias. I don't spray any chemicals on them. I either use a garlic spray or a rhubarb spray. not so much you call it rhubarb, because they're plants, they're flowers. You're not going to be eating them, so I like to use a rhubarb spray on them. It is a poison, so just be careful. The station is very prone to black fly, so you can start off, if you don't get an attack of black fly, and of course, as I say, I like to use these for the baskets. They're an absolutely fantastic flower in the baskets, really nice. But if you don't get an attack of black fly, a good soapy water, soft soap, warm water, and give them a spray that. Go back the next day, if you can catch them early enough, and then just nip away the flower buds, because black fly tend to hang in clumps. Just take a pair of scissors. Always carry small pair of scissors around with me. I've just dropped them in the greenhouse downstairs for this matter. Take a small scissors and just nip away the plant where the black fly are. Put them in a plastic bag and hide them in the bin. And to me, that's the easiest way of controlling the black fly. As I say, they're a fantastic flower, but they're a bit prone to black fly. But try them. They'll not be got sorted next month, March, middle of March, because they grow away really strong. I've got some other climbers and creepers that will be going in. But as I say, lots of time for that. Tomatoes will start off next week, I think, beginning of March. We'll start off with the American, the giant Spanish. What we'll do, we'll start making a sowing of them, just cool, in the greenhouse, with a plastic container over, and they'll grow nice and slow. As I say, I don't like giving them any heat. And then what I'll do is I'll make a second sowing in a cool greenhouse in the allotment at the end of March, beginning of April, and then I'm going to make a complete cold sowing at the end of April. And these are tomatoes I'm going to plant some in the patio outside, and I'm going to grow them outside all year. And just to show you that it is possible, if you choose the right varieties, you can grow tomatoes outside. Just give them a little bit of cover. If you haven't got a greenhouse and you want to grow some in a pot, and then I'll show you how we'll go about that. But you need to get your sowings right. It's no good bringing plants up now and hoping and that in a couple of weeks' time you'll be able to put them outside, or even put them in a cold greenhouse, because you can't. The tomatoes are very fickly where it comes to the cold. If they get a cold snap, you can shut them down. You can give them a check. They'll stop growing, and that's the worst thing. You don't, because tomatoes are great for growing. If they're grown in the perfect conditions, they'll romp away. And within a few weeks, they're one of these plants that love being potted off. So I like to pot mine off into 3 moves. From the seedling stage, they're going to a 6 centimetre pot. From the 6 centimetre, they're going to a 9 centimetre square pot, and you'll stop in that pot until they're ready to be planted out in the garden, into the beds or in the pots. And by then, with the 9 centimetre pot, I like to have that pot full of root. And usually I have a 4-inch to 6-inch plant in that 9 centimetre pot, and that's the perfect time for planting your tomatoes out. They're nice and strong, so hopefully they'll not get a check. But we'll do all that in the next video. I think I've just about said enough for the day. I'm going to sort some of my trays out, get my seeds all marked out, and of course, and get this video online. So I hope I've been a little bit of help to you this morning. As I say, welcome to all the new lads, all the newbies. If you've got any questions, by all means, post them online. I'll get on my Facebook page. It's Jeff Foreman on the plot, and there's always lots of lads on there wanting to give us a hand, give me a helping hand. There's lots of new people coming on, and they haven't got a clue where to start or what to do. Follow our site, and we'll give you as much help as we can. But for the time being, I'm going to get my diary out and start marking some dates down, and hopefully by next week, when we do start sowing, the beast from the east will be, well, confined to history, hopefully. So we'll see you all again soon. Okay, bye for now.